Hey everybody, welcome to Key Wisdom Tarot. My name is Ruth, I'm your Reiki Master and Tarot Reader, and this, my darlings, is a hi from me and Tiny. We're going to do a reading today. I'm going to talk to you and tell you where I've been. I've just, Tiny's had his new haircut. Doesn't he look lovely? He looks lovely, doesn't he? He's had his haircut, I do that for him. Yeah, that he's very good actually, and he's had his baths, and he's good. He's looking good. He's seen his daddy. He's had walkies. He's been very good, hasn't he? He's been very good. So there's my tiny dog, and he's very healthy and very happy. As am I, my darlings. How are you doing? So much has happened over the last month, I think, since I last spoke to you guys. Since I last was on here, and I've had a few messages and a few emails. I've just read an email from Donna, so thank you very much for your email, Donna. And I thought, okay, I should really, if people are worrying, you shouldn't be worried, but if people are worrying, maybe I should just come on and say hello. So my darlings, we're going to look today. Well, you've asked me where I am. Now you're thinking, where's she been? What's she been doing? How's she been feeling? What's she been going through? I think the last post I did was about Tantra, and what was amazing about that day is that obviously that's inspired where I've been, really, what I've been doing, what I've been working on. And I thought I need to, I understand what I'm doing, if that makes sense. Like, I understand Key Wisdom Tarot and what I'm trying to do, like what my sort of aim is. And I always put on my little pictures on the thumbnail video, on the video thumbnails, I always put on there that I always put on there that this is really about your spiritual path every step of the way. And my aim is really to help really, I suppose, in a way, for you to reach enlightenment for yourselves, and for you to engage with your consciousness, and for you to engage with your reality, and for you to actually really engage with what you think and how you feel and how you create meaning and what motivates your actions, and what desires you have, and what are the things that hold you back. And really, it's not my job to identify those, it's your job to identify those, and it's my job to teach you how you can do that, how you can reach that understanding. And so for the last, I don't know how long it's been since I've seen you, I think that's exactly what I've been doing. I've been meditating, obviously, I've been working, I've been writing, and I thought, okay, I'm going to start with reality. I thought, I'm trying to consolidate this all, because my aim has always been to teach you, if that makes sense, to teach you how to achieve enlightenment. And again, not because of what I tell you to do, but because of the work that you actually do. It's about looking at what we mean by enlightenment, what we mean by peace, what we mean by balance, what we mean by self. So I started writing about this, and it was hilarious, because I started, as I said, a few weeks ago, and there's pages and pages and pages. So I thought the first thing I'll do is I'll write about reality. And I'll, from the perspective point of view of someone who practices mindfulness, mindfulness and meditation. And I thought I'll write about reality. That will be the first sort of stuff, if you will, that you'll be able to find on my website. It'll be all about reality. It'll be all about. So I said, right, okay, let's start with reality. I said, so let's start with reality. So, what is reality? Even that question, I was there for 3 days on that. I'm like, okay. So I wrote down everything I knew, and and I was obviously in the reading and using the Tibetan Book of the Dead as well, or the liberation by hearing in the intermediate state. Liberation means basically enlightenment, what people think of as enlightenment, what people think of as woke. Liberation is the name of that, is what the specific language is for that, the specific process. And as I said, I started on reality, and I was like, okay, reality. Okay, how can I describe this to people? And then you're like, okay, I'm going to be specific about this. And so obviously there's two realities. It's hilarious, there's two realities, and the one that we live in isn't the real one. So then you say, okay, so what constitutes reality then? So then you start looking at what constitutes reality. So you look at the six intermediate states, obviously constitute reality. Okay, so if you explain what the six intermediate states are, then people need to know what the physical self is. They need to know what they are. They need to know they need to know what self is, and then we can start talking about reality. Okay, so now we've gone through all that. Let's talk about reality. Okay, so we've got two realities. We've got two truths. Okay, so we've got actual reality, which we don't live in, and then we've got conventional reality, which we do live in. And then you're like, okay, so we've got conventional reality. Okay, so what makes up conventional reality? Okay, so you're like, okay, well, the aggregates of the psychophysical self make up reality. I say, okay, so let's look at the five aggregates. So you've got aggregate of form, you've got aggregate of consciousness. Aggregate of consciousness has got eight aggregates. So you're like, okay, how many different, anyway. So that's where I've been, and that's what I've been doing. So it's been a beautiful, and you'll be able to read and watch videos about this, and you'll be able to take courses on this. You'll be able to look at specific aspects of reality, look at specific aspects of consciousness. You'll be able to look at specific aspects of form. You'll be able to look at specific aspects of how I make meaning, what my mental constructs are. You'll be able to look at specific aspects of these things. You'll be able to choose what you want to look at. You'll be able to choose to get more information or to view more videos, content, etc. on this, on that, on the other. So what I have found about this lockdown period, what I found about it, what I've realized about it, what it's given me is freedom. I was very conscious at the beginning of when those people that actually look at the consciousness thing, eventually when it's all up and you see it all, you'll be like, oh, Ruth was talking about consciousness, and yeah, she did tell us that there's 8 different types of consciousness, and we only have access to anyway. So I'm telling you. So I realize what this time has given me, as it's given me space. It's given me space to not be restricted by, well, I've got to post every day, I've got to post every week, I've got to post every month, it's the end of the month, it's the full moon, it's retrograde season, it's this, it's that, and the other. Because what you do when you do that is, it's great work. And I learn with tarot. So I learn, so the work that I do in mindfulness, in meditation, etc., in practice, about consciousness, about all the things that I mention, and there's millions of other things more to mention about it, but I learn about the ground of all consciousness, for example. I learn about mental consciousness. I learn about mental constructs. I learn about those things in the process of reading tarot. When I read tarot, it gives me that inspiration as well, and it helps me to learn more about reality, what it is, etc., etc. So the process of reading tarot is great for that reason. However, ultimately, the truth is the truth, and there's still all this stuff that you guys need to know, and I need to give you that information. I need to write that information. I need to record the content. I need to set up so you can find it easily, so you can navigate. I've got to do all that myself, and the most important part of that process is the practice. So me actually doing the practice, doing the meditations, responding, being reflective, philosophizing, conceptualizing. I'm the one who has to actually go through that process, and then I have to teach you guys about it. I have to create a space where you can access that, where you can look at the different building blocks that make up myself, or that make up meditation, or that make up mindfulness, in a way that you can then apply it to your own lives. That is a huge amount of focus needed, and a huge amount of space needed, and actually the corona has actually given me that space. I don't have the sort of, well, so I mean, I'll go on to talk about the self here, but the the 48 different tethers, the things that keep us stuck, that structure, if you will, that sort of rules all of our lives during when we're not in the midst of a pandemic. So the normal day to day, week to week, month to month, etc., that sort of structure is not there now. And so it's been amazing to be able to use time to be able to practice, to be able to write, to be able to work, to be able to create. And this is the type of this is what I'm here to do. Like, this is what I'm here for. My channel eventually will no longer be called Key Wisdom Tarot. And you can still call me Key though. I like that people call me Key. So you know, Key Wisdom will still be around, but the work that I'll be doing, the website, the channel, the videos, etc. They're going to be focused on, as I said, me sharing my understanding of enlightenment, and you doing with that information whatever you will, you doing with those building blocks whatever you will. You know, with the beauty of tarot is that the very complex aspects that are described in the sutras and in the tantras, they are texts, sutras and tantras, and in books like the Tibetan Book of the Dead. The very beautiful thing about using the tarot is that they can, those concepts, those ideas, those emotions, those feelings, those mental constructs that are described in books like the Tibetan Book of the Dead are described in each individual energy in the tarot. And so it's really important to know that this is what life is. However, you've got to understand where this comes from, where these images and these pictures and these ideas come from, and these objects come from. And that is really what I'm here to do. So yeah, it's I'm here. I'm very, I mean, happy isn't the word. I mean, you know, it's beautiful. One of the things that I'm going to start doing the tarot in a minute. One of the things that I was looking at was that difference between feelings. You only have 3 feelings, believe it or not, and emotions. And this all came when I was looking at consciousness, the eight aggregates of consciousness. And I was, as I said, just putting it all down in order, like, okay, what's the ground of all consciousness? Okay, what's delusional consciousness? Okay, what's mental consciousness? And it was interesting it was really sort of some things that I do and I know, and it's only when you kind of sit and you look and you reflect and you write this down that you see the simplicity of life, of our existence. And when you sort of feel that, when you understand that we have only 3 feelings, I always say to you guys, you know, thoughts and feelings are different things. And, you know, and it's interesting how our emotions are created, the mental constructs we create. We think we know what happiness is. We think we know what sadness is. But what you think sadness is, or what you believe sadness is, or what you believe happiness to be, is something that you've constructed in your mind very subtly over, obviously, your whole lifetime. That's what aggregate means. It means everything that's ever happened, everything you've ever thought is the aggregate of thought. There's no such thing as aggregate of thought, but but anyway, you know, so you are an aggregate, you are a gross, you are who you are today is because of every single moment you've ever had up until now, and all that constitutes you. That's what aggregate means. And it's interesting to think that, or to know, or to see, or to understand that there's only 3 feelings. We only feel pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. That's it. The rest of it, the happiness, the sadness, the worry, the anxiety, the pressure, the stress, they're all emotions, and they're all constructs. They're all constructed in our mental, in your mental, in my mental consciousness. And it's very interesting to be able to see that and understand, okay, well, understanding what thinking is, understanding, therefore, how I think, understanding, therefore, what I think, does that help me to work with my mental health? Does that help me to feel differently? Does that help me to think differently, etc., etc.? So I'm looking forward to sharing all that stuff with you. But I will be, that's where my focus is right now. My focus is there because that needs, you know, this is this is the space and the time and the energy to actually do that work. So I'll be doing that work, and I will be and I might see you every now and again. I might come on and do a tarot reading and or do, you know, but yeah, the work that I'll be doing is that, and you know, it's a beautiful experience to be able to finally do that work. I mean, and if you were expecting me to talk about the craziness of the world right now, I mean, Again, the world is an aggregate, isn't it? What we see right now manifested is a result of every single thing that's ever happened. That's what we see, whether we understand that or not, consciously. That's what it is. That's the truth of it. So, you that's where we're at. So again, people trying to decide where we are, people trying to decide who we are, people trying to decide how we should respond, people trying to decide how we should feel, people trying to decide how we should express. Ultimately, what we see now is because of everything that's ever happened ever. That's what we see. It's an aggregate. The world is an aggregate. It's a manifested gross of everything that's ever happened. So that's what we see. And that goes for you on an individual level, how you're reacting, how you're thinking, how you're feeling, what you're doing. You are the same. You're an aggregate of everything that's ever happened to you, everything you've ever experienced, and also something else, but I won't go into that. I'll be here all day with that. But you're a psycho self. So it's what it is. This is the object. So what are we going to do with that? What can we do with that? We can observe it. We can look at it. So let's look at our sun and our moon. I want to really just look at the spiritual development, the enlightenment, the path that we're sort of walking right now, as individuals. Yes, in the micro and the idiosyncratic, but also in the wider sort of, in the wider context as well. Where are we headed? So we're looking now to see the answers to that question. I mean, I'm quite keen to look forward to 2021 at some point, that object keeps reoccurring in my mind. That's something that I would be keen to do. Okay, so I mean, we're looking really at where we're at, where we're headed, where we're at, how we feel about where we're at, like how it feels to experience this, how it feels to be here right now and to be experiencing this and to be living this. I want to talk to you about the ground of all consciousness, but believe that's what this describes. People might, instead of saying ground of all consciousness, people might say collective consciousness. It's not. The collective consciousness, I suppose, is the ground of all consciousness, but the ground of all consciousness is everything. So that's what this is. This is the sort of the imprint, really, the imprint of the experiences that we're currently facing right now. So these are the experiences that we're currently facing right now, and that we're gonna see manifested. This is what's beneath that for us. This is what grounds all that. This is what the imprints and the emotional, not emotional, the feelings that we'll have around this. And then this is where we're headed, really. So let's have a look. Okay, so we start with the Queen of Pentacles, the Fool, the Two of Pentacles, and the Ten of Wands. So we start with the Queen. We see these. Oh, excuse me, I've not even talked about the Knight of Cups. I'll come back to it. We start with the Queen of Pentacles, and this is really looking at what we've created. This is really looking at what we've manifested. This is really understanding what we've manifested. This is understanding understanding what this means, what this statue means, what this law means, what this policy means, what this institution means. This is looking at that and understanding that, and really considering it, and it's considering it for change. It's considering it because we have these aspects of ourselves which are, that's inaccurate aspects of ourselves, but it's the easiest way to just say it now. We have these aspects of ourselves really that are represented by the court cards in tarot. And so we know that with what they mean, what each of these indicators is growing, increasing awareness. It's this awareness that brings about change, and it's kind of like a chain reaction almost. It's kind of like a chain reaction. So these things that we do, this focus on, what have we created, what is this object, what does this law mean, what does this treatment mean, what does this idea mean, what does this stereotype mean, whatever it is, we're looking at that right now as a world, as individuals as well. And I love, I've always said, for those, and you'll know if you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, Instagram, I've always said that you can't change the world by trying to change the world. People have tried and it hasn't happened. And yet now everyone wants change at the same time. Why is that? Well, it's because we've all been navel gazing. We've all been on lockdown. A lot of us have been on lockdown. We've had the space and the time to look at me, to look at my life, to look at, is this happy? To look at, is this fulfilling? To look at, is this secure? This life that I've built, this world that I've created for myself, are my ideas appropriate? Are they real? This is what we did whilst we were in lockdown. Is this the family that I want? Is this the what I need? Is this etc etc? Is this what I desire? We've all had that time to look at ourselves, to be self-reflective, and that's changed you and him and her and me. And even if the change is subtle and small, and even if the change is just that you understand a little bit more about your situation, your circumstance, your life, your choices, your motivations, etc., even if it's just that you understand that little tiny bit more, that's bringing about this change. This chain reaction happens within you. But we've all had the same time. We've all had 3 months to sit and to think. That means that everyone has changed even a little tiny bit, even a little subtly. And what that has done is it's made us look at our lives. It's made us inhabit our bodies. It's made us live mindfully. Enforced by lockdown, enforced by the global pandemic. But this is why we're seeing change, and it's, as I said, it's like a chain reaction. We're bringing about this, the noticing. I've said that so many times this year, didn't I? Last year, the noticing of the discomfort. And it's interesting because actually I swapped these 2 cards around, I think, and anyway, but it doesn't matter. It's showing that, it's the navel gazing, it's the individual self-reflection, that the opportunity for individual self-reflection, the opportunity for individuals to notice their circumstance, to notice the state of themselves, the state of their minds, the state of their bodies, the state of their emotions. The opportunity that we've been given to do that over the last 3 months during lockdown. What that has done is it's made us it's not even the it's made us want to start again. It's made us want to make some changes. It's made us want to do things differently, and it's made you want to do that, and it's made him want to do that, and it's made her want to do that, and it's made me want to do that. And so this is it. It's almost like we have the quiet reflection, and then we have the external, the masculine action, the things that we're going to do with that wisdom that we now carry, with the thing that we now have. The pressure, I mean, this is the action. These are the actions, if you will, the external, the sun. This is what's beneath the surface. So, we feel the pressure of it. This card's judgment because of that. That's how I know, not because I'm, I don't know. But yeah, it's judgment anyway, so I can tell you that. So I already know that the impact of this is quite I say these words, confronting, to us all. We are facing things, we are looking at things, and again, we have Pentacles energy here, which is all about manifested security, and the energy that we put into manifest security, the energy that we put into to see things happen, to make things happen, to have things happen. With twos, with the number 2 here, we have, it is a number of commitment. You know, it is a number of, it's like looking in a mirror, number two. It's like, this is what you see. This is what you have. This is what the truth is. And it's almost like, in a way, committing to that truth, or confronting the truth, or seeing the truth. And same with these things. It's like the sort of the reality, the reality of that, of what is manifested, the reality of what we hold, of what I hold, of who I am, of what this world is, of my relationship to my life, of my relationship to my the world around me, of my relationship. I can see it all. It's all here. And it can be sort of, I always think about this guy, and the sort of how, in a way, uncomfortable that can make us, how sort of instable that can make us feel, really. Or unstable, I should say, not unstable, unstable, that can make us feel emotionally sometimes, where we sort of have the reality, we see the reality, we know the reality, we know the realities, we know that we have what we think, what we believe, and we have the truth, or we have the, you know, we have what we want in this world and what we desire in this world, and we have the realities of the world. So it's kind of like, we, in this instance, it's kind of, I feel like, yes, the word confronting keeps coming to mind, but it's kind of like we're sort of managing that awareness now. We're sort of managing telling ourselves the truth almost. It's very interesting. It's like we're managing that awakening almost. It's like, I always tell you, change happens from within. Begins in your divine feminine, because the divine feminine is where your understanding is, really, is where your connection to your truth is, and it's the divine masculine, or physical self, that goes out there and takes action and does things. So it's your divine masculine that responds and to that understanding, and we see that here. And I feel like there's some sort of, not conflict, but, you know, we're sort of pushing and pulling, really, in sort of one truth and another, in sort of the truth, the old truth and the new truth, the old way of that you thought and that you felt, and the new way that you're thinking and that you're feeling. And that's what we're sort of seeing here, this sort of push pull, and the strain that that creates. It's interesting, isn't it, how I used to personally feel like, you know, if you have a you know, a bad experience, that's something negative that happens, don't think about it. Put it to the, if you don't think about it, it won't affect you. If you don't think about it, don't worry about it, just don't think about it, and you can get on with life, and you can do life, and you can live life. And this is expressed here. That same idea that I've just explained to you is expressed here in this energy, because it's in this card, because it's really the strain of that. It's really, eventually it becomes too much to hold it all in, and you just have to, you don't have, you know, they used to call that a nervous breakdown, you know, they don't anymore. As I said, that's what I would have called what happened to me, but it's literally that you're so holding everything in, and then it's just exhausting. And we're in this place here where we're trying to hold on to what we knew, to hold on to what we already know, to hold on to the way that things have always been for us. We're really trying to hold on to that old way, even though pervading through that is the truth, is the new truth, is what this navel gaze and this lockdown has taught you. It's taught you, I know that that's not right for me. Yeah, I know that that's not right for me. You know, I know now that it's just not the right situation. I just know it's not right. But this is how I live. You know, this is these two cards. But this is how I live. You know, this is how we are. Like, what, you know, why? Like, why? change it. I've just keep down that thought of the new stuff that I learned. Just no, it's fine. If I block it out, what I've learned, it'll be all right. I can carry on in the old way. And that's what the mental consciousness does. The mental consciousness, very good emotionally, we're very good, our brains are very good at sort of not lying to us, but helping us manage our reality just as much as we can, just at, the point that we need to, when it needs to change. And it's, the thing is, the change is already, the change gonna come. Remember, I used to call all your videos that change gonna come. But I mean, gosh, that is so the truth, isn't it? Change gonna come. I mean, God. Anyway, it's already happened. It's already happened. The change has already happened. So really, no matter, the fighting just really causes that discomfort. But it's also it's also how we respond naturally to these things. We want to hold on to the old, even though we know that this new reality is where we are going to end up, because the change is already, you already know the truth now. You already know the truth. So no matter how much you try to pretend you don't know the truth, no matter how much you try to deny that you don't know the truth, no matter how much you try to hold off enacting on what you already know it. You can't unknow something. You can't unknow it, I'm afraid. So let's look at that beneath the surface of that, the impact of that. And we feel vulnerability already. It's vulnerable, but I'm hoping it's going to bring strength as well. But let's have a look. I mean, yeah, we've got the, this is mental consciousness right here. We've got the Seven of Swords, we've got the Knight of Swords, we've got Judgment, and we've got the Page of Swords. So look, all these sword. These are all your mental consciousness. Your mental consciousness. So you have, as I said, eight different forms of consciousness, if you will. So we have the ground of all consciousness, which is, the imprint of all past experiences is held in the ground of all consciousness, and that is the only consciousness that's completely undifferentiated. Every single sentient being, every single person has the same access to the ground of all consciousness, and every single person experiences the same ground of all consciousness. It's not different for me than it is for you, because I know this or because you know that. It's the same for everybody, and all other consciousnesses are built on that. They all rely on that ground of all consciousness. Then we have delusional consciousness. Delusional consciousness basically tells you that you are you and that you are different from me, which is obviously not true. It's a delusion. But anyway, we'll be here all day. So then we have mental consciousness. That's what this is. Mental consciousness is the thing that it's you. It's the things that you, it's you making decisions, deciding things, saying that this is gold, saying that this is a rock. This is what you do. That you name objects. You have a disposition. You say, I feel this way about this. I know this about this. This is our mental consciousness. And this is what is a really interesting thing, isn't it? Because what you're trying to do, I basically explained all these sword energies already, because what you're trying to do, what we are trying to do, listen, I know I'm telling you about consciousness, I know all this stuff, yeah, but I still do this, yeah, I don't escape this, I still live this energy, yeah. So it's not just you because you're somehow lesser than. No. We're all in this boat. It don't matter who you are. It don't matter what you think. Doesn't matter what your star sign is, whether you're male or female, man or woman, whether you watch tarot or not. Right now, everyone knows. Because remember, the ground of all consciousness, which all other consciousness is built on, including the mental consciousness, is undifferentiated. It's the only consciousness that's exactly the same for everyone. And it holds an imprint of all past experiences. How does that impact a person? How does no love impact a person? How does lies impact a person? How does betrayal impact a person? We all know the same answer to that question. That's all stored in the ground of all consciousness. But what our mental consciousness does is it has to react to the world that we live in. So we'll go. I don't really want to talk about slavery, but for example, this is those people know it. They know, even racists, sexists, paedophiles. They know it's wrong. They know it's wrong. It's the ground of all consciousness. They know it's wrong. They know the impact of their behavior. They know the impact of their actions. But we have our mental consciousness, which is the save Jesus, hallelujah, praise be the savior of us all. That's a question. Because we can go, but it's okay that I do that because of this. It's okay that I behave this way because of this. It's okay that I treat people this way because of this. It's okay that I lie because of this. That's what mental consciousness does, and that's what these sword energy is doing. What is going on is the understanding's already here. The change has already happened. We already know the truth. You already see the truth. You can't avoid the truth. And yet you try to, and yet we try to. It's hard to have these conversations that we're having now. It is hard. And it isn't just hard for this person, it's hard for everybody, wherever you come from. Because you know what it is? Because the ground of all consciousness that we all have access to, that's undifferentiated, know the pain. They know that we all know the pain caused by lying. We all know the pain caused by cheating. We all know the pain caused by manipulation. We all know the pain caused by speaking out in anger. We all know the pain of trying to disregard somebody. We all know how that feels. All of us know. There's no difference between what I know and how that feels and what, for example, Donald Trump knows for how that feels. He knows how it feels. The Queen knows how it feels. The Coulson, the guy, the slaver who his statue was pulled down and thrown into the Bristol Canal, he knows how it feels. He knows. Because we all have the same access to that information. Ground of all consciousness. We all have the same, but we also have this mental consciousness, and this mental consciousness goes, but still. Yeah, I know, but still. Yeah, I know, but that's the norm. Yeah, but that's how it is. Yeah, but that's what the world is. Yeah, but nothing I'm going to do is going to change it. Yeah, but it's a status quo. Yeah, but my voice doesn't mean anything. Yeah, but it doesn't mean I have to change. Yeah, but I've got enough money like this. Yeah, but that's how I make a living. Yeah, but this is what your mental consciousness does. This is what we all do. And it doesn't, that's just an example. It doesn't have to be that we're, as individuals, having those conversations on that topic, for example, specifically with ourselves. Doesn't mean that. You apply it to your life. You're doing this. I'm doing it. I won't bore you with the details, but I'm doing this where I know that this is the truth. I know that this is the way that I should go. I know that this is the work I want to do. However, this is what, this is where I make my money. This is what is good for people. They like it. They want to use it. But I know that this is the way that I've got to go. And these are the imprints that we're feeling and we're coming into contact with, and we're being impacted a lot really by our thoughts right now. So, I felt a little bit, I don't really watch the news anymore. I went through a phase of watching the news during Corona. Well, it's still Corona, but you know what I mean? I still do watch it, actually, to be fair, a little bit. I might watch the briefings, but I don't really watch it. I don't have Twitter, but I was looking at the feeds and all that for Twitter, and it creates anxiety. The impact of this time is a huge amount of anxiety for us all as individuals, and confronting that anxiety. This is really asking why do I feel this way? Why am I responding this way? Why do I think this way? Even for me, for example, so why do I think that doing this for this reason is a better reason? Why am I trying to convince myself that doing this for this reason is appropriate, as opposed to what feels the truth, or as opposed to what I know the truth is? Why? This is what is creating for us all right now. Whatever your individual as I said, idiosyncrasies are right now, and what you're in, the specific things that you're thinking about, whether it be work, relationships, children, I don't know, the wider context of things, what's going on in the world with the whole all of the events that are going on in the world. So this is these are the impacts of these experiences. This is what's going on, and we find it's really bringing stuff up for us. It's really, there's a lot going on for us, I think. So we've got the Seven of Swords, which is really about swords. Sword energy is all, as I said, your mental consciousness, thoughts, mind, clarity, consciousness, communication, etc. What you do, what you think, what you allow yourself to do and think. Number 7 is the number of mystery. So it's about questions. It's about why. I've explained that one already, really. The Knight of Swords is the energy that I was speaking with not long ago. That's the energy of the Knight of Swords. The energy of the Knight of Swords is these quick thoughts, is this going for it, allowing yourself to think it, thinking it anyway. Your mind's going all here and there and everywhere. You're hearing it. You're hearing it. You're hearing what's going on in your head. You're hearing the things, the lines. You're remembering things that are coming back to your memory. You're finding things out. You're educating yourself. You're trying to understand how this is having an impact on me. What do I need to do with these feelings? But it doesn't come through as clear like that sometimes. We don't think, you're not really necessarily thinking about what can I do with this information. You're just getting all the information. That's what the Knight of Swords represents. I'll come to Judgment in a second, and then we've got the Page of Swords, and that's the same. This is where you actually have that moment to investigate. You have that moment to be reflective. We call this card the can't remember. I like to link this card to the diligence of Virgo, really. That the focus on detail, the trying to find things out, the trying to work it out, the doing the research, the educating myself, educating yourself. That's this energy here. And really we have this energy here which is just out of the way, out of place, it seems, with Judgment. But what Judgment is about revelations. That's what this card is about. It's about revelations. It's about seeing all, it's about knowing all, it's about having all the information about yourself. And that can be, I'm going to say it again after 3, 1, 2, 3, very confronting, because it's kind of like there's nowhere to hide. It's like there's a light on all this. There's light on all this. You can see and hear all of the thoughts. You can remember all the things that you did, or the things that you didn't do, or the things that you have hidden from yourself, or the things that you have stopped yourself from thinking about. None of that now is hidden. So all these thoughts are here prevalent in your mind. And this is something that, as I said, it can help make us feel unstable. But the change is already going to, as in, there is going to things that are going to be different, that are going to be different about your life, that are going to be different about what you do, that are going to be different about the type of things that you think, etc. And how the world looks and how your world looks. Things are going to be different. The change has already happened. It's already happened. And the change happened because you sat at home for 3 months and navel gazed. And the change happened because she sat at home for 3 months and navel gazed. And the change is going to happen because he sat at home for 3 months and navel gazed. And I did the same. And we all did that same. And we all therefore saw the truth. We all therefore connected with that ground of all consciousness. We all therefore were able to live in our bodies. We're able to live in our heads. And to really be honest about the state of me, the state of my life, the state of my ambitions, the state of my desires, the state of my guilt. We were all able to do that. So the change has already happened. It's already happened. And this is that time where it's all there at the forefront of our mind, in our heads. It's all there. So let's see where we are headed. I feel to come to him now for some reason. Like, he's been here. The card at the base of the reading always represents the overall energy that we need to sort of be taking through this time period. And this is, I don't know what this is not for a specific time period. This is for where we've been at and where we're headed. I don't know where the end of this is going to be. This could be end of 2021. I want to do a reading for 2021, actually. I really want to do readings for 2021. But anyway, I've got a lot of work to do, as I explained at the start of the video. So the card at the base of the reading, overall energy for this time period, or for this reading, for this message, and that is the Knight of Cups. Cups energy is about our emotional selves, our memories, and our constructed emotions, isn't it? Interestingly, but it's masculine, and it's about acting on them. It's about acting on how we feel and what we feel, and I feel like there's a sort of, this is what just came through. It's like there's a secret motivation. It's like almost a whisper, or it feels like a do you know, right? I'm going to go on a really elaborate definition, but imagine that, like, we all have like this microchip or whatever. All of us have this microchip in our bodies, and it's like, and it's like all of a sudden that microchip's been turned on, and we don't know that this microchip exists, this frequency exists, but it's like the frequency has literally changed for every single person all at the same time, instantly, and that is what is actually moving us. And we don't consciously know that, but we all feel that, and that's what's moving everyone all at the same time. That's what this energy is representative of. It's like a switch has been turned on in everyone all at the same time, and we don't know that it's there, but we all hear it, and we all are moving toward that. We're all moving in that same direction, in that same frequency, whether we are consciously aware of that or not. Some of us are consciously aware of it, but some of us are not consciously aware of it at all. But we're still all moving in that same direction. We're still all moving in that same, to that beat of that same drum. That's what this energy is representative of here. So let's see then where we're headed to with all this, with everything that's been going on, you know. Look at this. We do get a new world. And I love to see this card here, because this is really what, excuse me, we are facing. So we've got the World card. I love to see it. We've got the Seven of Pentacles, we've got the Page of Pentacles, and we've got the Hierophant. Now, just see why I keep wanting to talk about 2020 is because 2020, I've been, you know, thinking about, obviously I've been reflected, all that stuff, meditating, blah blah blah, and the Hierophant is for next year. That's the year of 2021, I should say. It's a year, 2021 is the year of the Hierophant. So for those people that, you know, were following what we were doing, you sort of in March, what I was talking a lot, and the video number 4 2020, you can watch that in the keywords and playlist. Anyway, number 4 this year 2020 is the year of the Emperor, yes, which is where we look around at the world that we've created. We look at how this world got to be the way it is, how my world got to be the way that it is, in order that we can release the things that we need to release, and uphold the things that we need to uphold. That's the energy of the Emperor. But also in the year of number 4, in the year of 2020, we have the Death card, 1 and 3. Death card, obviously, as you know. Now we can see the sort of the sort of real, if you will, death that's been occurring this year. But that's not, I'm not looking at it from that point of view. I'm looking at death as in that release of all the sort of the separation from the old, and when we separate from the old, we forget the old completely. Is what's called fundamental ignorance. But we forget the old completely. We forget the old life. We forget the old way completely, and we are reborn, having seen reality, having felt reality, having experienced reality. That's 3 of the intermediate states, by the way, what I've just described for you there. And when we have, and so I was thinking about this last week or this week, I can't remember when it was. I was thinking about, well, next year, number 5, we've got the Hierophant. And I always say about the Hierophant, what it means, the Hierophant is you can live your rules or somebody else's. And that's really that's exactly where we are going. You know, we are going in that direction where we are deciding, where we are making decisions as individuals. As I said, each of us are doing this as individuals, but it's having an impact on a mass scale, because everyone's going through the same process, whether they engage with the spiritual path or not, whether they watch tarot videos or not. Everyone's, that light has been switched on, that frequency has been activated, so everyone is going in that same direction. So we're all thinking about that now, and I feel like this is going to what this is literally the end of the year. This is going toward, I was about to say, like, I feel like we're going toward December here, but this is looking like, looking at these energies, it's looking like this is the rest of 2020, what we're looking at here. And we have this energy because we're moving into 2021 here, but we have this new world. It's looking like we're going toward new, we're going toward change, we're going toward knowing the same, you know, raising the consciousness, which is what's happening, what's occurring, is because we've all experienced the same. We've all experienced the same thing at the same time. And that's meant that we've all reacted to that at this, in this, and obviously individuals, we're all different, But what it shows us is the truth. What we realize by sitting on lockdown is, I'm going to admit that it's ridiculous how I live my life that way, or that bits. I don't even like that, but I still do. I don't even like those people, but I'm still friends with them, or whatever it has been for you. We've all realized, I do this and I don't want to do this, or I do this and I don't like it. I do this and it doesn't make me feel good. We've all whatever those things are for you as an individual, we've all realized that, and so we've all then asked that question. So why do I then do it? We've all had those 3 months to be like, so why do I do that then? Why do I continue to do this if it makes me feel bad, or blah blah blah? And we're changing. The world is changing. This shows that foresight perspective. I like to think about this card, sort of like a drone over a racetrack, a more Formula One track. You can see all the twists and the turns. You can see everything, and we'll have this perspective as we get to December. We'll be able to look back on this year, on 2022. We'll be able to look back on this year and actually say, but how much did we learn? But how much did I learn? Wow. That's what that energy is. So that's really good to know that we're going to have that level of perspective, that all of us are going to feel like that way by the end of 2020. And we have next the Seven of Pentacles. I'm rushing because it's getting a bit long, this video. We have next the what's his name, the Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles. And again, seven's the number of mystery, my master number, and seven's always asking about why. And it's not only asking the why, it's about the answers. It's about trying to find the answers to those questions and then asking more and more whys. And this is about what is manifested. So we are actually in that space. You're going to be making those decisions, at the end of the year. I'm going to be making those decisions at the end of the year, looking at the things that I've built or that I've been building or the work that I've been doing. And again, getting honest with myself about what needs to go and what needs to stay. That's what this energy is, and about where I'm going to be applying my energy. Because remember, we're still in this energy of, this is really what I want to do, but I'm doing this because, this is what I've always done, or because this is what's appropriate, or because this is what's acceptable, or because this is what other people think, or whatever the reason is. It doesn't matter, but we're doing it for one reason. Or this is the status quo of my life, but this is what I want instead. And we're still going through that energy, really. This is looking like it is a bit more expansive toward the end of the year, which is really good. So it's looking like we're in that place where it's those questions, it's those reflections that are going to help us, that's going to help us as individuals, us as well, but me as an individual, you as an individual, him as an individual, to actually really restrict where we put our energies, really restrict it, and only put it in the space that's truthful to us, that makes sense, that teaches us, that has taught me already, this experience taught me that all the other, whatever the reasons I tell myself that I should do this job, or that I should be in this relationship, or that I should live this way, or that I should have this disposition, whatever the reasons I've been telling myself, I now know the truth, and I'm going to put my energy into the truth. That's where we're going to be by the end of the year. That is a beautiful thing to see. So I just hope that people, all of us, even when we can see that things are being, trying to be established in the old ways, we have got to be committed to the new ways, the new wisdom that each of us has individually discovered for ourselves. The beauty of understanding is, when you hear it, when you feel it, there's no doubt. The doubt is something that you create. The doubt is something that I create. The doubt is something that we create in order to stop ourselves from doing this, in order to stop ourselves from going in the direction that we feel pulled, that we feel drawn, that feels right, that we know is right, that we understand is appropriate. And we have the Hierophant, the card of 2021 here expressed. The Hierophant, Taurus's energy, the sort of the workhorse, well, not the workhorse, but the workhorse, the bull, head down, shoulders to the wheel, work through, work with, go with the change. It's hard, it's challenging, it's difficult, because we know both now, don't we? We hold both truths. We hold the Hierophant represents institutions. We hold the institutionalized truth. We hold the conventional truth. Okay, well, this is apparently what you do in life. This is apparently where we should aim in life. This is how we should live our lives. For example, this is how a man should live. This is how a teenager should live. This is how a woman should live. This is how we have the conventional truth. This is what a teenager should want to achieve. This is what a man or a woman should want to achieve. That's a conventional truth. But this year has taught us the actual truth, the real truth to you. That's different for me, it's different for you, it's different for us all. But the question of the Hierophant is always, you can live your truth or somebody else's, so which one are you going to choose? And that's really seeming like a very strong, I mean, that's the theme. So that means that when we get into 2021, we're still going to be, trying to manifest something that's more truthful and in alignment with who we are. And we're even still going to be in the process of doing it, and it's going to be challenging, and it's going to be testing, but what it's going to bring is both sides of yourself together, both sides of ourselves together. We're going to start to see ourselves as whole. Remember, the lovers is after this. The lovers is next year, isn't it? 2022, 222. The opportunity for that commitment, the opportunity to see the benefit of all of your experiences, to see the blessing of everything you've ever been through and everything you've ever experienced and everything you've ever done. 2021 is going to give us the opportunity to see that, to experience that, but not just to see it, but to understand it, because you're going to be using what you've learned, what you've been learning in 2020. You're going to be using that in the second half of this year, and also as you go through 2021. So, my darlings, I hope you like that reading. It was a long one, I know, but I'll put, it's Monday when I'm filming this. It's about 5 o'clock now, 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. So I'm gonna have some strawberries and creme and some Greek yogurt and honey and not muesli, granola, which is just like the most beautiful thing ever. And Tiny's gonna have his treats as well. So we're gonna have something to eat, and I'm gonna upload this. I don't know why I bother telling you this, because you're not going to see it till Tuesday anyway. You're going to see this on Tuesday. So yeah, it'll be uploaded on Tuesday morning, whatever. So you'll see it. But I hope that you've enjoyed the reading. I hope that if you didn't watch the beginning, because I will have put a timestamp. If you didn't watch the beginning, the first sort of 10-15 minutes of the reading, I would watch it, because I would watch it because I said it, so I'll watch it. But it's up to you what you do. But yeah, I hope you like this reading, my darlings. And I will see you again at some point. I really wish I could tell you the name of what the new name of Key Wisdom will be, and what the name of the website. It'll all be the same, the website, the channel, and potentially podcast. But they'll all be the same. But I'll probably do a little separate video to explain a little bit more about it at some point, so you can see it. Okay, my darlings, thank you so much for being here. I hope that you are well and happy and healthy, and remember that happy is a mental construct. But feel how you feel. You only can feel pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral. So if that's just anything that I can tell you, that's all you can feel. So live in your life, live in your body, live in your skin, and notice whether you're pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral right now. How are you responding to this time? Because this is going to be the change is already happening. Change gonna come. That is for true. So, my darlings, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope that you are very well. And speak in the comments, because that's one thing I do miss, actually, speaking to you guys. Okay, take care, my loves, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Well, I'll see you at some point with another reading, or with some more, just some more juice. Okay. Take it easy, my lovelies. Bye.